The advice that I would give to someone that just got the pro card as a bodybuilder is, I would say, continue to work hard, learn your body and learn what works for you. Even though you might have a guru or somebody trying to tell you what supplements to take, tell you what to do, ultimately you're the one that's going to walk out on that stage and be judged. So your guru who you're listening to, he's not going to be able to tell you what to do when the lights are up and the cameras are flashing and the judges are looking at you. So if you don't trust your decisions and learn what your body needs for itself, the judge is going to look at you and they're going to see a little bit of doubt. They're going to see a little bit of doubt, because at that point, if you haven't made all of your decisions or 95% of your decisions for yourself stepping on stage, and the guy next to you he's going to look more confident in his eyes and his presentation, because he knows that he's done everything that he possibly could do to win that show. And if you're the guy standing there and you don't know that you've done everything possibly to win the show because you've listened to different people, so that creates doubt. And so wherever there's doubt, there's weakness. So you take a guy like myself, I would come in and I would pick up that weakness, especially if I was on stage posing next to someone, and it would be something about their calm or their aura that you would sense, and then you just start hammering away at them, pose for pose. And some guys come out on stage and they look down at themselves and look down at themselves like this is their first time looking at themselves, and they'll look up at the judge and they'll look down again, trying to make sure, you know what I mean? That's kind of like where a person, maybe they didn't make all the decisions when it came to the preparation, they relied on someone else. So that confidence won't be coming through, you know what I mean? It's so you need to make sure that if you're a new pro and you're trying to get out there and perform at your best, that what's best for your body. And ultimately you need to trust your own decisions. It's good to have people guidelines and lines in the road to keep you in the lane, but ultimately you're the one that's got to press the pedal, get the car moving forward to where you need to go. I never practiced a posing routine. My posing routines on stage came from instinct. It came from trusting my emotions and what I was feeling, and then making a decision at that point which way I was going to turn or where I was going to end up. And for me, when you practice, and they say practice makes perfect, there were some routines where I tried practicing a routine, but sometimes you look like a robot and you're not in the moment because it's completely rehearsed. And I found the difference for me, what worked was just going off of instinct and reacting to something, because it's more of a true statement. It's just affecting you, and it's like nothing's like the first time effect. But when something is just rehearsed, the music could be off, or the music could be too low, or something, and you're just going through the motions, and there's a disconnect with the music. So for me, I've never really, my career, I knew what music I was going to use, but depending on what arena it was, depending on what the crowd was, or where we were going to perform, then that all took place in my performance and what I was going to do on stage, because I would feed off the crowd and I would say, you know what, instead of hitting a double bicep here, I think these people are like yelling, so I'm going to go into a most muscling, bam, get them yelling a little more, So it's, instead of staying here doing my whole routine that most people would practice and rehearse in that 12-inch square, that 2-foot, 3-foot box, I'm going to run to this side over here to the stage, because these fans up on the far left, up in the bleachers, they're really yelling, you know, and maybe some guy might have a sign up over there. So, you know, for me, it was all instinct. I fed off the crowd. You win the crowd, they'll let you know what's up. So that for me, that gave me strength through my routines. And I said, you know what? It gave me a better presentation as I was on stage, you know. And then you engage with the judges too, you know. They get engaged, and you know, they start, like, you know, communicating with you. But you know, these are all the things that happens when you're out on stage in front of the crowd. So going through a rehearsed routine over and over in your head, a lot of times music might start late, music might not be loud enough, might not even work, you know. So, you know what I mean? Instinct is always more truthful, you know, to trust and rely on your instincts. How I always went about a pose down would be, you know, presenting myself to the judges doing a pose down, you know, because the judges are still, like, looking at you and stuff, and not necessarily worrying about the crowd. You know, I remember when we would go through our pose downs, we would be pushing one another. Flex would be pushing, Sean would be pushing. You know, we'd be trying to step in front of the champion, you know what I mean, to try to block him out. So, pose downs, man. It's like, we would always, if we felt like, you know, whoever the champion was Mr. Olympia, then we would always plan that, you know, you take him from the right, I'm gonna take him from the left, and dude, I tell you what, you jump out in front of him and you take him from the front and block him off. So that's kind of like how we approached pose downs, you know. When I say we, Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, myself, you know, we would get together and gang up on, you know, Dorian Yates, because he was, you know, we were trying to dethrone him. So, you know, that's what a pose down was all about, man. I would just stand my ground in the middle, you know, just stand my ground in the middle of the stage, not necessarily moving around on the stage a whole lot, you know. Just stand your ground in the middle, you know, and eye contact with the judges, you know, because ultimately, again, you know, you're posing for the judges, and you have to show the judges that respect, that no matter what, who's trying to steal my glory, I'm man enough to stand this ground, you know, because I own it. So that's what it's all about.